Hey guys, it's Ruby and welcome back to my YouTube channel. And today we have a really exciting day. Started off a bit boring as I went to school, but because I'm in the middle of my A-levels, it actually frees me up a little bit because, for example, today I only had 2 lessons. We don't have a set timetable from day to day, so the amount of lessons can vary. So like I said, I only had 2 lessons today, so that meant I could come home, have some lunch, and now we are off to do a Grand Prix on Goal Strike. I can't wait. I feel like it's gonna be very exciting. I haven't actually ridden Goal Strike much this week, so no pressure to me. But yeah, like I said, it's just for experience. It's amazing. I can't believe I have the opportunity to do stuff like this. I mean, I'm only 17 years old, so it's going to be a great experience. My dad's actually at Solihull, the venue, right now, with his horse, who's co-owned by Georgina Wilkinson, in the PSG. However, because Goal Strike's stablemate is Mowgli, that means he would absolutely scream his head off. So it made it easier that we just went in separate lorries, which is a little bit excessive. So my dad's gone in the big 26-ton lorry and we're in our little handy dandy Theolt, the 3.5 tonner. And yeah, we will see you guys at the venue. So we've got to Solihull. It is bright and shining sunshine, which is such relief because we're outside. As you can tell, Goal Strike is raring to go. Bless him. But I've just been doing my finishing touches. I've been watching videos on YouTube from the 2023 Europeans of the Grand Prix. You know, there's no other person to learn from. He's the best. And we're going to put on Goal Strike's bridle. I think today, the biggest thing that we're going to make sure that we put on is the ears. Goal Strike, because today's a local show, it means that they don't do arena walks. Usually at a bigger competition, there'd be arena walks. And sometimes Goal Strike can be a little bit reactive to the weather. Excuse me, you're stealing the spotlight. So we're going to put on the thin ears today. These are from Lemure. They are, like I said, like a game changer. With Goal Strike, we kind of judge on how he is at the show. So if he's a little bit hot, you know, we want to dull him down a little bit. We put the thin ears on. And then if he's really, really hot, then the Lemure also have these soundproof ears, which are absolutely amazing. And basically, it just dulls down the sound outside, so they're soundproof, basically, and it really, really helps the horses in their concentration, and it can relax them because sometimes the horses can get a little bit overwhelmed by the noises. So it just relaxes them, and the horses can really, really appreciate them. So yeah, today we're putting on the thin Lemure ears, but we've got the thick soundproof ones in the bag for just in case.
Hi, so we're at Solihull Equestrian Centre today. Ruby's doing her second Grand Prix on Goal Strike. I've just been out and done my first Prix from George Weld. I've got a horse called Mowgli, Olympia MC, who I own with Georgina Wilkinson, and we've just done our first Prix St George. So just jumped off, popped him in the lorry. He's been looked after there, and I'm going to help Ruby warm up for her Grand Prix. Down the wall, we can do a bit of the zigzag and leg yield. What I want you to do is change on stride 7 or 8. Oh. Goal Strike didn't like the coffee cup. So what we're doing here with the zigzag, which is a very difficult movement in the Grand Prix, we're actually going to start off in leg yield, just to try and help him with a bit more sideways jump. Good. So what Ruby's going to do, she's going to do that on the next long side. She's only going to try and leg yield 4 strides, and then she's going to change on stride 7 or 8. That canter looks great, sweetheart. Okay, so 4 across. 1, 2, 3, 4, straight, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, straight, 6, 7, 8. Good. Right, can you do that in the leg yield and just try and change on stride 6? Good. Canter looks great. Well done. Okay. One, 2, 3, 4, straight, 6. Well done. That's it. Right, centre line, and we'll do your zigzag. Now, you won't fit it all in here because the arena's not the right length, okay? So you might have to turn left. Now, don't go too far to the left. That's far enough. No. 1, 2, 3, 4, straight, change. 1, 2, 3, 4, straight, change. Very good. Lovely. Well done. Very good. Right, do a circle. Good. Collect the canter slightly. Yeah. Yeah. There. Good. And now go forward. Good. So we're just checking that you're checking your transitions, checking that he'll wait. Right. Should we go straight into the twos? Really good in the zigzag. We just got to make sure that we do that little leg yield before you go in. It gets him really good off your leg. And just remember, don't go too far at the beginning. Okay. So forward. Yeah. Yeah. Stop on 7. So in the Grand Prix we have to do 9 twos, but this arena is not the same shape as a competition arena, so we can't quite fit all the changes in. So Ruby, we're going to do now your ones. We'll just see how many you fit in. Good. Swing the leg. Perfect. Very good. Great. Good. Now give him a walk. Lovely. What we're doing now is we're going to work towards a pirouette. And this is one exercise we use, which is where we do a 10-meter circle in travers and walk, and then we pick up the canter positioning. So basically it turns into a very, very, very large pirouette, just to try and get him starting to follow her. A little bit more seeing the line, a little bit lighter on the aid, a bit more sitting. Good. And walk. And it's also a good exercise if you want to spend a little bit longer in the actual pirouette, where obviously when you canter into pirouette, we can't spend long in it. And now canter again, Remy. Yeah, good. And now turn it into a smaller pirouette. So now turn in, canter, give him a little tap. Yep, yep. Canter, 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 and out. Good. Well done. Good. Good. Right, let's change direction. We're going to do it on the other right. Okay, so you do a single change to the right. Forward. Yeah. Good. Okay. Now we'll walk. Good. And now do your travers on the circle. Good. Okay, and now go canter. Good. And a little bit more flexion. No higher in the neck. That's it. Let the neck drop a little bit. That's it. So you let the neck relax down a bit, so he's got a bit more room to get his shoulders up. Good. 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 And now walk again. And now bring the hip a bit more to the right. Yep. And now counter. Good. Now nose a little bit more to the inside, hip a little bit more to the inside. Okay, and now you start to turn in. Good, canter. Good. Well done. Good. And now go out. Good. Right, let's change direction. So you're going to go left. We'll go down the centre line. We'll do 2 pirouettes with the change. So what we're going to do now after the exercise is we'll actually ride the line. So what we do through the Grand Prix is we ride the lines individually, so we have time to work on each one. You know, the horse knows each of the lines, and then we put them together in the test. Good. So now collect, sit, right. Now turn the front left. Good. Now a bit bigger from your right leg. Good. Lower neck. Good. And sit. Now out straight. Forward for the change. Good. Now collect. Good. Well done. And now you turn right. And now go a bit bigger from your left leg. Go bigger, bigger, bigger. Yeah, in. Make sure when you go bigger, you push his hip sideways. Okay? Because what he did do there, he pushed out against you. So what I want you to do, now you need to be on the right rein, because we need to do the right one again. The left one's fine. Now put your left leg back. And now nudge him through with your left leg. That's it. That's it. That's it. Good. It's just at the end there. Yeah? Good. No, he just pushes out with the quarters a little bit. Right, and now do your trot. Good. Forward. Well done. Good. And now walk. Great. He looks great. So what happens in the working in is we work in with the boots and the overreach boots on, and they're there just in case the horse catches itself. And then we have to take them off before we go in and compete, because if we competed with those, we'd be disqualified. So they come off usually when the horse before you're competing goes in. And so we just take the boots off, and Ruby will just maybe go through the test in her head, had a little drink, we check the girth, we make sure everything's in the right place. And then usually the last thing that we'll do is a centre line and halt, which is, so usually the last thing we do in the working in is the first thing you do in the test. Good. Well done. Right, should we do one medium trot into the passage? It looks lovely. Well done. Okay, and then sit, now up, and then sit forward and go with him. Sit forward, go with him. Don't hold on so much. Up. There you go. Good. You've got to watch so you don't hold on too much. Good. Now front leg. Good. Good. There we go. Good. And then we'll do your piaffe. That's very nice. Good. Good. Now sit. Good. 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 Very nice. Good. And now gently forward. Just let him up. Yep. Up. Very nice, good. Just make sure in your extension that you don't hold back, okay? What you have to do is you have to come around the corner, take your time, good walk. And when you do it in the test, you come down the centre line, halt, trot off, you'll turn. Just don't go too fast through the turn, sit him up, and then just let him take you forward, okay? Okay, now take your time through the corner. Good. So the corners aren't marked, but if you make a mistake, it comes off the next mark. Now steady, steady, steady. It's very bold. Okay, so she's now going to come, she's got to get really deep into this corner now. She's got a very, very steep half pass across the school. So she's got to turn out to the corner. And what she's got to do is got to get to the just before B, and then she's got to go back to the left then. She's got to get back to H. There's a lot of very, very, very difficult movements that come up incredibly quick. So now she's going to come around, she's going to do a halt at C. And we have to do an immobility, so we have to show that they'll stand still. And now she's going to rein back 5 steps. 2, 3, 4, 5, and now out to trot. And now onto a diagonal into an extension. So again, we just have to watch he doesn't get too ahead of her. Good. Okay, now a transition to passage, which is a very hard transition. And then she's going to turn left at K, and then over the centre line we have to do between 12 and 15 steps of piaffe. And we get marked for the transition in, 2 marks for the piaffe, and then for the transition out. Forward, forward, good, and then up, and sit, and forward. Almost got to think like a trot stride out of that, just to try and free those front legs up. Good. Okay, and now we have to go into an extend and walk, which is showing that the horse can really relax and stretch out, which actually sounds really, really easy. But when you're doing these very, very high level movements where you need the horses very reactive and very light and sensitive to the aids, because there's a lot of reactions that are coming out very quick. And then we're looking for complete relaxation into this. So it's actually quite hard. And this, now we have to do a collected walk on the short side. But at the end of this, we have to passage. So again, these horses anticipate this. So these walk movements are in there to show that the horse will relax. But it takes an awful lot of concentration. Once your horse learns how to do things like piaffe passage, that collected walk does become harder to do. So she's come out of the corner, and now she's going to passage. She's going to come down to the next marker at R, and then again we have to do the piaffe over the centre line. Good, start. Good. And then here at E, she now has to pick up canter. Good. And this is about the only place in the Grand Prix where you've got a slight reprieve. So we canter around to the corner here, and then he's going to go onto the diagonal. And she's going to do 9 2-time changes. So this is a flying change every 2 strides. So it's like a skip from one leg to the other every 2 strides. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Very good. And then relax on the short side. We try and show a nice picture to the judge on the short side. Now she's going to come onto the diagonal into an extended canter. So again, we just got to make sure here he doesn't get a bit too excited and run ahead of her. So we want to be as bold as we can. And we've got to come back and do a change. And now she's got to go down the center line and do what we call a zigzag. So she has to go 3 strides to the left, 6 strides to the right, 6 strides left, 6 strides right, 3 strides to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, straight, change. 1, 2, 3, 4, straight, change. 1, 2, 3, 4, straight, change. 1, 2, 3, change. Very good. And now we go onto the diagonal. Now we've got to do 15 one-tempi changes. So this is where they skip every stride. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, she's made a mistake. So she's got to then get it back, which was very good riding there. So she had a little mistake, but she's been able to get them back. And then you can see that sometimes it's like show jumping, is that you knock one fence down and then all of a sudden 4 go. But it's only one movement. But now she's got to get back, get her focus, and then we have to do these canter pirouettes, which is cantering a very, very small circle with the quarters in. And we're looking for between 6 and 8 strides in this. Now we have to come forward and do a change. And then we have to collect. And then she's missed the marker because there was a mistake in the change. But again, she's got back and she saved it. And this is all experience because these movements come up incredibly quick. And then on the last centre line, we have to passage down the centre line. And then she's got to do the piaffe at X. And again, we get a mark for the passage, a mark for the transition into the piaffe, 2 marks for the piaffe, and then a mark for the passage at the end. And she's done a great job there. So she had a couple of those mistakes, but what she was able to do is then after the mistake, she was able to get herself back and perform the next movement. And that's one of the hardest things to do because it's very easy to find that these movements come up so quick that what happens is you get flustered and then you miss them. So she's done a fantastic job there. And you know, for such a young age, this is only her second one, she's done a brilliant job. Very proud. So what we do after the competition or after the test is we usually have a quick chat about what happened, so it's sort of fresh in her mind. So yeah, Ruby, your piaffe, it's got to be over the centre line, but you start a fraction late, which doesn't give you room to be able to let him edge forward. Okay, so we have to think about trying to come into that half a metre early or earlier. You know, your transitions were, as I say, your 2s were very good. The 1s, he just made the mistake and then you just got a little tight. And so then he made a couple more mistakes. But what was really good is you got it back. Your zigzag was good. And that was really nice. And then your first pirouette was good. And then when he didn't go to change, you got a bit tight in the change in the middle. And it's just being able to take a breath and just get that through. But what was really good is you got your second pirouette. But what you did do is you were a little bit late for your change at X. So he came out of your pirouette and you almost waited 2 strides too long. And then he got a bit unsure about what he was going to do. But you should be really proud. And no, it was great. And he didn't stop to go to the loo. Yeah. Goldstrike has gone all the way to Grand Prix, but he still has to stand still when he goes to the toilet. He hasn't worked out that he can trot and canter while going to the loo. Well done, baby. Well done, Goldstrike.
So I've just finished my Grand Prix test. That sounds pretty cool. I'm very hot. Like I said, it was outside and the sun was on us, and considering it's not actually that hot, whew, I need a cold bath after this. When I came out of my test, obviously I had a few mistakes. and a few expensive mistakes. But that's all part of the process of learning. I came out thinking that, you know, a lot of the quality was better. I think my pièces are a bit more on the spot. I know where I went wrong. So my 110 piece, I didn't have enough right rein, which is a massive weakness of mine. On all my horses, I never have enough right rein. So that's just something I've got to get into my head. But you know what? Practice makes perfect. Again, a few little mistakes, like the single change, little bits and pieces throughout the test, you know, but I've not ridden the Grand Prix movements in so long, you know. I kind of just tried to go around there, tried my best, tried to remember everything I'd learned in my lessons beforehand. A Grand Prix is not easy, let alone when you're 17 years old. Okay, I tried my best, but like I said, I was very, very happy, and I really, I'm going to go home and try and persuade my parents to let me do another one, because I love Goldstrike. He's my hero. That horse has done so much for me, and I love him so much. So we just went and got my sheet, and I am over the moon with my result. I got 68.4%, which I can't believe it. Goldstrike's such a legend. And yeah, no, I really want to get out now. I've got the Grand Prix bug. So yeah, I really want to get out now. I'm loving it. I'm loving my life. I'm loving everything. But yeah, no, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe down below. And make sure to comment any video suggestions. Obviously, we're quite new to this YouTube thing. So any ideas are greatly appreciated. And I'll see you guys in the next vlog. Love ya. Bye.